I look back as I get older and see how we screwed up this country so many years ago. We gave away all our jobs, and now we say we need jobs. There's no textile industry anymore. There's no Rust Belt, and now we're wondering what kind of jobs are we going to get. That's really one of the big issues. We listened to a bunch of academic economists that told us we're going to have this free trade, sending our jobs to countries that they were using slave labor, not the same kind of labor we're using. Now, what we're talking about here is really the symptoms. We're not talking about the underlying causes. We're going to try and deal with the symptoms. And you know, it sort of reminds me of the fellow that goes to the doctor. Doctor says, you're going to need an operation. He says, how much is it going to cost me? He says, $60,000. I don't have that kind of money, doc. How much will it cost to touch up the x-rays? And so what we're doing here is touching up. Do we really need another agency? All we really need are people. Frank Perchak, Brooks Lee Bourne, Manny Cohen, Newt Minow. These were people that went into and regulated. If you start bringing people into the government who are non-regulators, who don't want to regulate, we're going to give business to the Fed. And suppose they have another Greenspan there who's going to be a non-regulator. How can we do this? You need people. And if you don't put the right people in, you can have all the agencies in the world. They're not going to do the job. And so, I mean, we're really here. It just frustrates me. I guess as you get older, you get frustrated a lot more than before. But when you look back and see how we screwed up this country, now we got a mess, but we got to get out of it. I wish I knew what the solution is. But it seems to me, and it's not just business, it's the unions, everybody contributed to this. Because the unions gave the cover to business to take the jobs overseas. And that's what happened here. And you know, I hope we can do something. Sure, I don't mind another consumer regulatory agency, but what good is it going to do if you don't put somebody in there that's going to regulate? What good is it? Did you people read in the paper last week where we were told that the biggest event which could have collapsed this country was not bailing out AIG? Remember we were told that? And then when the people got up to testify, Geithner said, I had nothing to do with it. He says, I had recused myself because I was going to be Treasury Secretary. Paulson gets up, who wrote the book, and what does he say? I had nothing to do with it. He says, because that was being run by the Fed. And then Bernanke says, I had nothing to do with it. Well, who made that decision to pay everybody 100 cents on the dollar? I want to know who made that decision. And when I talk about Brooks Lee Bourne, another great regulator. So, look, folks, we got a lot of problems, but we got to deal with it. And I'm going to tell you right now, people is the answer to this thing. You got to get the right people in who are going to do what they're supposed to do. So, I don't know if that shakes up anybody.